We've talked about Adriana Smith before on the May 19th episode of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, That's Right. If you go to that episode and you go to about, I think the 56-minute mark and watch for about, 15 minutes or so, I go over the entirety of the issues that I have with what happened in Georgia and Adriana Smith. As you know, nurse had headaches. She went to the ER. They turned her away, or they didn't give her the proper treatment. The next day, she woke up, major headaches, went to the hospital, had brain issues, went brain dead, but was pregnant. So then the state and the hospital said that they would not be able to just let her off life support because it would violate Georgia's heartbeat law. The AP and other media sources cited these people saying that if they let her off life support, that it would be a violation of Georgia's heartbeat law. Well, if you listened on May 19th, you already know this, but we're not going to assume that all people watching listened on May 19th, so we are going to take a look at the law as it is worded. This is the Georgia law. As used in this article, the term abortion means the act of using, prescribing, or administering any instrument, substance, device, or other means with the purpose of terminating a pregnancy with knowledge that termination will, with reasonable likelihood, cause the death of an unborn child. So you have to take a specific action, and that specific action has to have the intent to terminate the pregnancy. And the AP were citing, and other people in the media were citing this law and saying, oh, well, the state of Georgia is saying this, and the hospital is saying this. But did they ever go read the damn law themselves? I mean, I'm not a legal expert, but this is, again, plain English. There is nothing in here that says that removing Adriana Smith off of life support would be, by Georgia law, considered an abortion. Yes, the pregnancy would have ended when she passed away, or some point thereafter, because it was not long enough into the pregnancy where you could have delivered the fetus and tried to save it. But there's also nothing in this law that would have allowed the state to punish anybody who took her off life support, because taking somebody off of life support does not involve an act of prescribing anything, administering an instrument. You're not administering an instrument, you're taking away an instrument. You're not giving the person a substance. You're not using a device. You're taking away a device. And there's no other means. And you don't have the explicit purpose of terminating the pregnancy. They're not going in there and saying, oh, we want to terminate the pregnancy. No, they're just saying you can let her off of life support and let that be it. But the media is too chicken shit to challenge the people of Georgia, to challenge the government running Georgia, and to challenge the hospital. If the Associated Press is too chicken shit to challenge them when they're wrong, then why do we need them? And again, this is why we need new media. Because without new media, you're going to get the same old. Again, Big Hook quoted this. I cite this all the time myself. Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Insanity would be continuing to embrace the corporate media who keeps feeding at the trough and feeding us false information because they don't want to bite the hands that feed them. They are useless if they're going to continue to do this crap. And how can we then trust them to give us accurate information on anyone else? Local, state, federal, whatever. If they can't be trusted to give us this little piece of simple information and challenge them when they're wrong. Because I will flat out say right here, anybody who said that letting her pass away would be a violation of Georgia's law is 100% frickin' wrong. And the idea that somebody should have to be allowed to be on a life support machine, I don't even know if you can call it life support because she was literally dead. She was brain dead. That's dead. She was a corpse that they were keeping alive just to use as a human fetus incubator. I mean, this is one of the reasons why people say that conservatives, MAGA folks, love to pleasure themselves to The Handmaid's Tale. But this even goes beyond Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale, the handmaids were still conscious. They still were awake during the whole thing. If these MAGA conservatives figure out a way to, put people who are fertile in like comas and then continuously impregnate them so they could be baby delivering factories, they would absolutely do it. You don't believe me? What happened with Adriana Smith? I have no doubt in my mind that if they could, they would. And then they would use the people who are infertile to do the other menial tasks that they would expect a woman to do. Because we have a misogynist, sexist party running this country. I don't want to see Handmaid's Tale become a reality, but that is full on under his eye crap. And anybody who continues to support this, you are not a moral person. You are not a good person. You are a crap human being. And also, final note, this baby might not even live. So they might have, kept the corpse alive for nothing if the baby passes away. Or, if maybe the baby might have not passed away but might have severe medical issues that might make life, not good for this child. And also, don't forget, who's the bill going to go to? Does the family now have to pay the bill? Does it come from the estate of the now deceased? Will her family now have to pay the medical bills pertaining to keeping her alive for months? Now, financial issues are the least of my concern in the overall scheme of things because I'm more concerned about things like body autonomy. I'm more concerned about things about, living wills and, do not resuscitate DNRs, medical directives, legal paperwork signed by people that tells the state you can't keep me alive in certain circumstances. Because if she had paperwork that says you can't keep me alive, that I do not want to be put on life support, these idiots would have said that's not relevant anymore because we think that the law says this, even though it doesn't. So they will manipulate the laws in such a way to make it so that they don't have to listen to your legally drafted paperwork. Just like they used to do. Again, in the last video that I did in May 19th, I talked about the Lisa Pond case. Go watch that if you want to hear more, a recap of the Lisa Pond case and what happened with that one. But these people are gross, morally bankrupt, and I cannot understand why anybody with a brain, with a heart, or with any sort of morals or ethics would still continue to support these idiots.